someone sent this to me, like for lols, okay? Not seriously. Obviously, I would never be friends with someone who sent me this seriously. But anyway, this article I have not read yet, but I'm going to read it to y'all because I know you just love the lols. And I don't know why there's not a date on this. Usually articles like this say when it was published. Already I hate it. I hate allies and transgender. And I hate the headline, 5 things to know to make your feminism trans inclusive. What the fuck are we still saying this shit? Anyway, okay. In collaboration with HRC's Transgender Ally and Gender Expansive Staff Resource Group. What a mouthful. And Women Identified Staff plus Resource Group. That's so fucking stupid. Oop, we got a smoky sneeze. You okay? Women Identified Staff. Miss me with that shit. Okay, anyway. Most people understand feminism to simply mean the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of the equality of the sexes. However, that definition leaves out a lot of nuance about what effective and inclusive feminism actually entails. Simply put, trans exclusion makes feminism weaker for trans and cis women alike. Wow, what dipshit with her head in the sand wrote this? Maybe it'll say her name at the end of the article. Here are some things you should know to make your feminism trans inclusive. Okay, that language is actually, that phrasing is actually interesting. Here are some things you should know. Not here are some things to take note of. Not here are some things trannies want known. It's here are some things you should know. Okay, anyway. 1, trans women are women. Wow, I hate it even more. You know, I didn't think I could hate it more, yet here we are. When we say, no, they're not. No, the fuck they aren't. They never were. They never will be. Like, liberals just love this stupid-ass mantra. Guess what, you guys? No matter how many times you repeat a mantra, if it's not true, it's not going to come true. Grown adults, people with functioning, sound adult minds, and kids, even people with underdeveloped brains, know this. That you can't just say things that you want to be true and make them true. Like, see, Smokey agrees. Okay, when we say women, that word always includes trans women. Well, then why the fuck is there a distinction? Why do you say trans women if they're not women? Why is there a different fucking name for them if it's not the same thing? Oh, because it's not. It's definitely not. Trans women are men. Anyway, a woman's gender, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Yes, the fuck there is, dipshit. A woman's gender identity is her innermost concept of being female. A trans woman's gender identity doesn't define or caveat her womanhood. It simply describes her journey to womanhood. No. The only quote-unquote journey to womanhood is you developing female reproductive organs in the womb. Okay? And I don't think any of us remember that. It just occurs, right? Anyway, let's watch this video. I think I've seen this idiot. See me as you see your family member. See me as you see your newborn child. See me as you see yourself. More delusional language. See me as you see a family member. See me as you see your newborn child. Excuse me? No. That's legitimate crazy talk right there. But this tranny said it. Hold on.
See me as you see your family member.
No, you're not my family member. I don't know. I don't know who told you that was okay language, but okay.
See me as you see your newborn child. See me as you see yourself. Hopefully you see yourself in a good way. In one word.
Why can't white people talk about... Why can't white... What the fuck is their word now? Non-binary trans people talk about this. It has to be trans and non-binary people of color? Okay.
How can cis people be more accomplices to the cause?
They can stop entertaining these delusions. Because that's what they are, is delusions.
Backburning allow trans people to be whoever we want to be. And instead of completely retreating, support us. Be the backbone.
In one word.
That guy is fooling absolutely no one. That guy is fooling absolutely zero people. But he knows that people will go along with his delusion because women are being stupid about this. It's so embarrassing, honestly.
How can cis people be more accomplices to the cause?
Vocal, like being vocal.
Okay, the person who is even doing the interview, that's a tranny as well. You can tell in the voice. And this guy is very clearly 100% male. He's a very low voice.
Where somebody else has misgendered you, cis people won't correct them. They'll look to you to correct them.
Yeah, I ain't gonna correct anybody. I'm gonna correct people who call transgenders their imaginary sexes. You're welcome.
But trans people don't feel comfortable being like, hey, these are my pronouns like every single 5 minutes. There are a lot of cis people who are inquisitive.
Maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe there's a reason for people misgendering you. Did that thought ever cross your mind? Smokey, I'm really sorry. Bub, I can't help you. You gotta stay here, my guy.
They'll ask questions, but they don't take the time to realize how their words are going to affect other people. If they took that time, I think they would get a better understanding and realize that we're just people.
We all have dreams.
See, it's always about cis people. Cis people are the problem. It's not the trenders here. They're not at fault. They're never at fault. They can't be at fault for anything ever, right? It's cis people. Cis people are misgendering us. Such a fucking victim mindset.
Dreams, goals, aspirations, we're just like you.
In one word, how can cis people...
How are you just like me? I actually don't make it my life's work to play pretend permanently as an adult in waking life, okay? That's not a thing that I do. That's not going to be a thing. Smokey, it's okay. That's not going to be a thing that I do, you know? It's just not, it's not gonna happen. Smokey, it's okay, I'm sorry. He's a sad boy. It's okay. Yeah, there you go. Okay, he laid down, you guys.
will be more accomplices to the cause.
Alliance does not mean you have to walk in the same path as me.
Whoa, look how gross his fake breasts are. That's so disgusting.
Or completely understand my struggles and what I go through. It's about the respect. See me as you see your family member. See me as you see your newborn child. See us.
I guess she's non-binary. Like, that's on par with transgenderism. Here, Sheila, you okay? You can get out. You wanna go out that way? It's okay. Sorry we got all the pet interruptions, you guys. Sheila, do you wanna go out? Go on out. Good girl. Go on out. Pudge, are you going out? Go on out. Thanks for coming in. Dogs can be around feline leukemia and FIV positive cats, and it's totally safe, just so you know. Anyway.
As you see yourself. Hopefully you see yourself in a good way. But
How can cis people be more accomplices to the cause?
education.
I think there's so many.
Hold on. Oh, can I not go backwards 10 seconds? That guy, that Latino guy wearing the, like, spaghetti strap tank. Like, that's totally something that, like, a 15-year-old girl would wear. So many of these people are very, very, very childish in their brains. Honestly, I can see, like, a 15-year-old girl wearing that to some kind of on-camera interview. Not a grown-ass woman. Anyway.
So many resources for people to do their own research. It's kind of unacceptable to put trans people in the position to educate you about themselves.
Guess the fuck what? It actually is not required of me to quote-unquote do my own research. Moron, I have been in contact with the trans cult since the year 2005. Probably longer than you've been out of diapers, my dude. I don't need to do my own research. Why do I need to do my own research? Honestly. Why is that required of me? Why is that required of other people? Other people, again, the victim mindset. Other people, cis people, are required to do research on their own about transgenders. So stupid.
Themselves.
So you want me to relive my trauma constantly to teach you, but will you really do or create the change?
No. Who the fuck asked you to do that? You to relive your trauma to teach me? Excuse me? Fam, sounds like you've got bigger fish to fry than people calling you the wrong non-binary imaginary pronoun.
That is needed to help protect me so I won't have to go through the trauma again.
In one word, how can cis people be more accomplices to
This guy has a low voice.
the cause?
Unabashedly.
Oh my god, how did I know?
When you're around someone who's disrespecting trans people, you say something. When someone's misgendering someone, you say something. It makes people have to
I'm not going to.
question themselves. You don't give them the privilege anymore to be disrespectful. It's not just about not being transphobic. It's
That's what I meant. That guy is dressed like a 15-year-old girl.
about being anti-transphobic. And that means
I'm pro-transphobia. Transphobia is also not a thing. Like, by the way. I ain't afraid of these idiots. I'm not afraid of these mentally unwell people. I'm not afraid of them. They are embarrassing themselves.
you as a cis person
And they deserve to be called out for it.
educating the people around you. Because trans people, LGBTQ plus can't be doing all the educating. They can't be doing all the work. So speak up.
Oh, fucking again. It's cis people's responsibility to educate. Save trans lives. See, this is again self-aggrandizing. If you just do your research about transgenderism, you'll be saving lives. That is over the top, okay? You guys, I want to tell you something. The last day I was in Portland, I had to buy some stuff from this pet store. And there was one gal at the checking out, okay? And there was another gal in line in front of me, and then I was behind that other gal, okay? And this woman who was checking out was taking forever. I don't know it was not the person checking her out. She was taking forever. She was chatting this person, the checker was transgender, by the way, was TIFF, female to male, okay? The checker was transgender. The checker was not taking forever. This woman was chatting her up, talking about this, bringing up that. And me and this other woman were waiting. There was no one else in the store, okay? And then finally, when she was fucking wrapping up the transaction, she was like, this is an older white woman, right? Obviously. Older white women who are liberals are a huge part of the problem, and we need to start saying that. So this woman, after taking excessively long to just buy her freaking dog food and leave, was like, I just have to say, I really love the name blah, blah, blah. She said the name of the transgender checker. That's like virtue signaling, you guys. That's virtue signaling to just be like, it's a coded way of being like, I just want you to know that I'm an ally to transgenderism. Miss me with that shit. Anyway, let's move on. Transphobia is offensive and harmful. No, it's not. Transphobia is correct and good and helpful. There we go. Many policies that were created to target trans women and girls, from bathroom bills to anti-trans sports legislation, are super invasive for everyone. Yeah, for girls, retarded. They're invasive for girls. Bathroom bills that aim to ban trans people from using the restrooms of their gender, ask women, all women, to prove their femininity. No, they don't. You're catering to the extreme minority here. You're catering, like, because some people are, in fact, congenitally born without two complete arms, that means we should just have all shirts have optional arms that you have to buy separately. We should make 100% of shirts have Velcro arms that you have to buy or not buy separately, because some people aren't born with arms, weren't born with properly formed full arms. That's the logic we're dealing with here. Okay. In one example, A cis woman was harassed and told to leave a Walmart bathroom because she was confused for a trans woman. Yeah, that's because of sexism. Is this even true? Women are getting harassed in bathroom because of anti-trans. I don't know. Maybe another time. Okay. Yeah, that's because of sexism. A mannish-looking woman was told she was trans, but she actually wasn't, and to get the fuck out of the bathroom. Sorry, that's kind of understandable. Yeah, it sucks, especially if you really do resemble a man, but you can be like, listen, I'm not male. This policy is offensive and embarrassing to anyone, especially women who don't perform femininity in a traditional way. You guys have watched my videos. Obviously, I don't perform femininity in a traditional way. I do not wear makeup. I'm not always even fucking showered in my videos. I don't shave my legs for the most part. And I don't care. I don't hide it. Okay? But no one is ever mistaking me for a guy. They're like worshiping these stupid things that women do. So that mannish looking woman, if that's even true, who was harassed, like she probably couldn't have worn enough makeup to make herself look quote unquote feminine enough. Do you guys know how many people are actually also walking around who need vision correction and don't have it? The answer is a lot. Anyway, anti-trans sports bills that aim to bar trans women and girls from playing on sports teams that correspond with their gender identity also ask all women to prove their womanhood. No, they don't. Where did you get this freaking crazy notion? No, they do not. They're not like, oh, so we've had some issues with trans women on the team. Can you prove to us you're a woman? I've never heard of that happening. Many bills that have been heard across the country go above and beyond to be invasive and harmful, some even going so far as to force kids to turn in doctor's notes with proof of their genitalia. Well, any form of legitimate identification, like your birth certificate, has your sex on it. I don't think that so a kid wants to join a soccer team and she or he has to present their birth certificate in order to register. Is that really a big deal? You need to have formal identification to do something? Is that a big deal? No. Okay, at the end of the day, anti-feminist ideology wants to police women's bodies, and that includes trans women's bodies. I'm rubbing my eyes right now. So saying, hey, you can't join this thing because you're not a woman biologically is policing someone's body? That's just going along with requirements. That's not saying we don't agree with you being trans. That's saying you can't join this group. Okay. Anyway. All of this is very vague, by the way. This policy is offensive and embarrassing to anyone. Femininity in a traditional way. Bills that aim to bar trans women and girls from playing sports on teams, blah, 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 that correspond with their gender identity. All of that is really vague and weird. And guess what? I also don't care. Okay, anyway, 3. To be trans-inclusive is to be intersectional. Oh my God, I'm rubbing my eyes again. Okay. Intersectionality is a term coined by Kimberly Crenshaw, a Black American lawyer, civil rights activist, civil rights advocate, and leading social scholar of critical race theory to capture the complex, cumulative way in which the effects of multiple forms of discrimination, such as racism, sexism, and classism, combine, overlap, or intersect, especially in the experiences of marginalized individuals or groups. That's called a run-on sentence. On that explanation is very complicated, and I don't even think that's what Kimberly Crenshaw meant by that. Coming out, living authentically as Black LGBTQ plus people. Okay, I thought this was going to be an article about intersectionalism, but it ain't. I'm pretty sure that Kimberly Crenshaw was actually naming that term intersectionalism in the context of academia, in the context of analyzing feminism through an academic lens. And all these activists blew that the fuck out of proportion and tried to apply it to any and everyday life. Okay. It is also often used to refer to the ways in which we hold. Oh, but anyway, Kimberly Crenshaw was saying, okay, sorry I haven't looked it up recently, but I did take a lot of women's studies classes in college. Shocker. And then it got really liberal. Like, you guys, within the time I was in college, they changed the women's studies department to gender studies. That's how retarded this shit is. Anyway, what she was saying was, like, these definitions and experiences of white women are not my experiences as a black woman. That's what she was saying. She was saying these articles and these books and stuff, like, I just see zero of me or anyone I know. I see none of my experiences here. So is it really, like, in everyone's best interest to call this feminism if it's not if it's only in white women's voices? She's a point. She fully has a point there, and I'm not denying that, but I don't, you know what? I don't think I know that she wasn't meaning to include transgenders, because I'm pretty sure she made up that term over 40 years ago when transgenders were not a thing. It is also used to refer to the ways in which we hold multiple intersecting identities at once, e.g. being a second-generation Nigerian American non-binary person. Well, stop being non-binary. Feminism must account for all the unique and specific ways women are marginalized. This includes race, gender, sexuality, and more. Racism informs transphobia, which then informs sexism, and so on and so forth. Okay, again, this is getting kind of too fucking complicated. Anyway, it is important to point out. Okay, does racism inform transphobia? That doesn't really sound right to me. Okay, but whatever. It's important to point out the ways in which transphobic ideas are rooted in racism. I think they're actually just rooted in logic, but anyway, if one does not fit the mold of traditional femininity, i.e., white, thin, etc., one is otherized, not a word. That's not a word. And their womanhood is questioned. More often than not, the gender of women of color is delegitimized. Okay, when, honestly, in all seriousness, in the last 20 years, okay, when the fuck was womanhood or femininity only made to be white and thin? We have been off of that for a long time now. No one is being like, oh, she's not a thin white woman, therefore she's not a woman. No one is saying that. People are saying he is biologically male, therefore he's not a woman. Okay. More often than not, the gender of women of color is delegitimized. You know what? Good, because gender is not a thing. Gender is a religious belief of the alphabet mafia. Sex is real. Biological sex is real and provable and unchanging. This is so annoying. Okay, this goes back centuries. You may remember learning about Sojourner Truth's now infamous speech titled Ain't I a Woman? Through this, she argues that she is treated less than because she is black, and the way she is treated specifically targets her womanhood. Yes, because it specifically targets her black womanhood. And transgenderism was not a thing back in her day, by the way. Okay, today, women of color in sports consistently have to prove their womanhood. Many elite athletes like Dute Chand and Caster Semenya, who are these people? To prove she's a woman. Blur, blur. I want to see a picture. Get away from me. Okay. I don't think I'm gonna deal with this. Who thought about this one? Okay, I'm trying to read this. I don't need to read this, but they just named some athletes whom I do not know of and are like, they need to prove they're women. Well, maybe they do. Maybe they fucking do. Have been forced to provide evidence of their womanhood through basically investigating their chromosomes and testosterone levels. This fight isn't just against transphobia, it's against racism, sexism, and all the intersections. Okay, there are some disorders that women can have, or if you're DSD, VSD, yeah, that might in fact affect your athletic performance. Okay, yes, I'm not denying that. But like, so you're boohooing about these two women who had to prove that they were women? Okay. Anyway, okay, 4. Trans women are feminist leaders. No, the fuck they aren't. I have never seen a more mentally unsound, a more mentally messed up, a more mentally not okay, a more sexist group of people than trans women. Period. In my life. They are the worst at all those things. Okay? The worst. I mean that. And if those things are happening, if they are those ways, they're not feminist. A lot of people don't want to admit the fact that in a lot of activism, there's a lot of narcissism. There's a lot of toxic personalities, right? There is. Okay? Activism isn't this like pure and perfect place. Anyway, Black and brown trans women are and have been the center of much of the social justice movement. No, the fuck they haven't. Why do they lie about this? They straight up make up lies about this and say, well, black and brown trans women are just angels and they're the reason women have rights. No, the fuck they aren't. Women are the reason women have rights. And you know what? To be a little bit more detailed here, a lot of men that these women knew, these activist women knew, helped them. Okay? A lot of women's rights wouldn't have happened if men hadn't agreed to it. Right? Anyway. Too often, the black and brown trans women who ignited today's LGBTQ plus equality movement and feminism have been overlooked and their stories have been erased. And in instances where black and brown trans women are talked about in the media, it's usually about their deaths or streams of misinformation that strip us of our dignity. Also, this is written by a transgender. Okay. I kind of want to show you guys a comment I got recently from a transgender, but anyway. 5. Centering the most marginalized is key. In their seminal work on Black lesbian feminism, the Combahee River Collective stated, if Black women were free, it would mean that everyone else would have to be free since our freedom would necessitate the destruction of all systems of oppression. What? It would mean that everyone else would have to be free since our freedom would necessitate the destruction of all systems of oppression. Okay, so let's say black lesbian women are all quote unquote free and liberated or whatever. Does that help disabled people? I didn't think so. Their analysis teaches us that centering the most marginalized voices is a necessary part of any liberatory work. Trans women, particularly black and indigenous trans women, are directly targeted by multiple systems of oppression that compound to create a culture of violence. See, this transgender is not getting to the root of the issue. In 2020, HRC tracked a record number of violent, fatal incidents against transgender and gender nonconforming people, many of those being trans women of color. A total of 44 fatalities were tracked by HRC, making 2020 as the most violent year on record since HRC began tracking these deaths in 2013. Cool. I bet they were prostitutes. Because like 100% of trans women killed in the United States are killed because they are prostitutes, and the men who pick them up find that they're transgenders and kill them. Prostitution is a problem. And idiots like the person who wrote this article probably says sex work instead of prostitution. Okay? Prostitution is the problem, and men who solicit prostitutes are the problem. If trans-trenders weren't so hell-bent on being trans-trenders all of the time, maybe they wouldn't be resorting to prostitution. Putting that out there. We will not have equality until those most marginalized among us have equality. Ultimately, we can work to eliminate gender issues by listening to and fighting alongside trans women. No. Your feminism needs to be trans-inclusive everywhere and every day. Feminism, when inclusive and intersectional, is good for everyone, including women, people of other marginalized genders, and men. Who the fuck are people of other marginalized genders? Non-binaries? Because how many goddamn things do we have now? We have women, men, trans women, trans men, non-binaries. Who else is out there? The gender is out there. Okay, feminism is good for everyone, and so we should all be feminists. This is really giving like fourth grade to me, honestly. But I think a fourth grader who wrote a paper like this about pollution would do a better job than this, because this is so shitty. Okay, as writer Allie E. said, put simply, trans women ought to be included in the feminist coalition because we share some experiences of misogyny with cis women, because we share liberatory goals with feminism, and because our exclusion makes feminism weaker. No, the fuck it doesn't. It makes it stronger. But that's why a huge reason why I don't consider myself feminist anymore, because it's such a circus. It's such a shit show. I don't think a lot of quote unquote feminist groups do anything for women, or hardly anything for women. I really believe that. I am being totally serious right now. And when women are just willing to allow pretend men into their group because they say they're pretend men, and women aren't checked into reality enough to see why that's a problem, like, ain't supporting it. I'm not supporting it. And no other women with brains in their skulls should be doing that either. Fight anti-trans legislation. Tell state legislators to stop attacking the transgender community now. What? That's not even about anything. That just says fight anti-trans legislation. Okay. Feminist spaces are inclusive. I thought we would get a picture of him, her. Anyway, bye.